Today's video is going to be looking at this article about the alleged asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs and sparked apparently 2 years of darkness. That's pretty fascinating that these people, they claim to be able to go back in time, arbitrarily large numbers that nobody can really fathom. What do you know, 66 million. And a million is 10 to the sixth. It's 6 zeros. So it's a 6 and then a 6 and then followed by 6 zeros. Interesting coding they have going on there. That is certainly a nod to the number of the beast. And it's interesting how much of their outer space stuff ends up being 666 miles per hour or what have you. Here's another 66 with a 6 years ago, sparked 2 years of darkness. So to finish my thought, wow. So they can go back in time 66 million years and then be for certain that something happened for exactly 2 years long. That is spectacular. They have no limits to the amount of precision that they can have. I actually used to kind of teach this stuff every once in a while. I mean, I would make a chuckle about it. I would say that it's funny when people would do these little half-life problems that their calculator would shoot out an answer and then they would think that they could know like the exact day a T-Rex died or something, because the math shoots out a bunch of numbers and you can take the decimal places as far as you want. Just the notion of error and stuff like that usually is way over most people's heads. Confidence intervals. How often do you see confidence intervals when these pop science articles are thrown in your face? How often are they dropping links to studies, or it's very often just sensational stuff. But man, the 66 million year thing, that doesn't surprise me. The common thinking now is that global wildfires would have been the main source of fine soot that would have been suspended into the upper atmosphere. Said study lead author Peter, interesting, they're just a lead author, Peter Roopnarine. What kind of a last name is that? A curator of geology at the California Academy of Sciences. So I want to stop here and say that I think that here, with this framework of fake dino stuff, anything that's pushed on children in this world is highly suspicious. They love to push the astronaut stuff on children. You know, zebras, all their fake animals are going to be the ones that get pushed the most heavily. Sloths are so common these days, pushed, koalas, etc. Same thing with the dinosaurs. Man, they really cram that dinosaur thing for something that apparently was around like millions and millions of years ago. They're pretty front and center these days. And really, it's because it was just an invention like 200 years ago or something. Who's ever been out in their backyard and dug up a dino bone? You gotta be a special illuminated individual to do something like that. But anyways, I think in this silly framework, they're kind of giving us hints about how the resets happen, how historical resets happen. I think that they have some knowledge about the way that these things happen, and they're pretending that this happened 66 million years ago and it wiped out the dinosaurs, but they're actually just telling us how they can reset history whenever they want to. They can do total population resets, more or less, and this is how they do it. Of course, not an asteroid, but like this. The fires. They're saying, no, it's not the impact, it's the fires. And interesting how huge fires has been a thing recently in the news. And here in Oregon, it was a couple years ago now, I think. Who knows how many years, 3 years ago now? It like looked like Mars outside. Not that Mars is like a real planet, or like a place you can go. I believe in biblical cosmology. Who knows what Mars is? But anyways, the sky was orange, and we were like sealing up our house to try to keep the nasty air from getting in. It was really bad. And so just imagine if it was like that for years. There's certainly a lot of media hinting at these kind of things. And they tell us about, you know, nuclear winter is but nukes are a hoax. So really, they want you to believe that they're so high tech, but a lot of times it can just be very low tech. And what makes it work, what makes them work, is that they're all over. They have control over this whole place. Like, that's why every world government out there was ready to roll out the plexiglass and all that, and the stickers, the vinyl stickers. Man, how early were they printing those things out to make sure every store had the vinyl stickers telling you to be 6 feet apart and all the plexiglass? I'm assuming they knew ahead of time. And so that type of Earth-wide cooperation, what's stopping them from lighting all the biggest areas on fire at the same time? Cooperating in that kind of way, and then going down into their bunkers. Preventing photosynthesis, since it is known. They're just gonna tell us. They are confident in this. Since it is known that around 75% of the species went extinct after the asteroid impact 66 million years ago. I mean, maybe 75% of the species really did. I mean, maybe there is such a thing as a fossil record, but they inflate the numbers so much and they make up so much BS that it makes it hard to know what's real and what's fake, because I do believe that different eras and times past, like, I believe in unicorns. I think unicorns were a real thing. And maybe they still exist somewhere because they've done some Jurassic Park trying to bring it back from the dead thing, or they've kept select populations safe. I don't know, but I think there is something to there being different time periods on Earth and different types of creatures. And I do believe that there could have been different atmospheric conditions in times past, because the whole Noah's Ark thing is interesting, of them getting really drunk afterwards. Like, the atmosphere changed and that's what caused them to get really drunk afterwards. So a lot of they obscure your ability to find the truth by mixing up so much BS, and they fabricate so much stuff, so sometimes it's hard to know what's true and what's not true. But the 66 million years, when they start telling you that the sun is kajillion miles away, and that they can tell you what was happening in a 2-year time period 66 million years ago, that is just blatant bullshit that they've gotten way too used to be able to shill their BS around. Dark period may have lasted approximately 2 years. Conditions varied across the globe because of atmospheric flow and temperature variation, but we estimated that the darkness could have persisted in the Hell Creek area. Isn't it interesting how much stuff on Earth gets named after satanic things? A representative fossil-rich region dating to the latter part of the Cretaceous and extending over parts of today's Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. For up to 2 years, Rup Narayan. More about the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Around 66 million years ago, an asteroid with a force unlike any in Earth's recent history struck our planet and dramatically altered its trajectory of life. Interesting how I feel like here they're kind of making fun of the fact that wouldn't a huge impact like that, wouldn't it literally change the trajectory of these space balls and have like crazy effects and mess up the spin and mess up the... But what do they talk about the Yucatan here? Now they tell us that it's a Yucatan. When I was growing up, I don't think that there was consensus on that story. They can change their stories whenever they want. 5 years from now, they could say, oh, that was wrong. It's actually in this area. But it's not like a crater. It's a really, really shallow, depressed area. I mean, you know how they tell us if you zoom in on Earth, it's like flat like a pancake, or they say it's like as smooth as a billiard ball, but they're doing the fake wrapping. Earth is actually really flat for the most part, and it's not like a giant crater. And when you would expect something like this would just do a huge chunked crater, and where's the ejecta? There should be like a hole, and then where did all the dirt go that was being ejected out? Anyways, it's a bunch of BS. They looked on maps to find something that looked roughly circular. Who knows? They can explode mountains, though. That actually comes into this, and the ash thing and the fires, because I think that the whole Mount St. Helens psyop and all the volcano hoax. Volcanoes are very often, they're like tailings from mining operations. And who knows, maybe sometimes that they were uncontrolled, like chemical reactions that started to happen from mining tailings or from industry, like has a lot of... I mean, I just think of industry that I've driven past, and you see these piles of sulfur just sitting there. And it's like maybe sometimes these caught on fire or something, and that's what some of the volcanoes are. But anyways, volcano hoax, Mount St. Helens hoax. Look at Mount St. Helens. They literally blew a mountain up. There's no lava. There's no volcano explosion. They literally just blew a mountain up. And so they certainly can just shoot a bunch of ash into the air. And I think that that's part of their resets too. Light all the major forests on fire, shoot as much ash into the air. And I guess I want to stop and say that this isn't like trying to spook people out. I just think that reading this article made it clear that they know that this is how the resets happen. And yeah, they block out the sun. I've been saying this for a long time, that I think that that's how they do a history reset. They block out the sun, probably by shooting ash into the air. But this article kind of puts it into perspective that they know exactly what they're talking about. And the fire thing, I don't know why I didn't really think of that. Dinosaurs are a hoax. I think I've already said a lot. Blistering speed. Yucatan Peninsula, Chicxulub Club crater, CC is a 33. A massive depression. I mean, massive in size, but not depth. It's so. I mean, I don't think that really makes sense to me. The craters are a hoax. I don't know exactly what it is, but the impact craters. It's like, where did the thing that caused the impact go? Why did that vaporize? And I'm very suspicious. I don't know exactly what's going on. I think it could just be them blowing crap up, testing their biggest missiles. It could be structures collapsing, like underground structures sinking in. I don't know. People will have more ideas in the comments than I have, but I don't believe in asteroids. There's a reason that falling stars always fall. They don't go upwards because outer space is fake. And immediate aftermath of the asteroid impact. Billions of atomic bombs. Well, nukes are Hollywood. They are not real. The tremendous force ignited wildfires hundreds of miles away and released vast amounts of sulfur into the atmosphere, leading to a significant drop in temperatures. Now I want to start getting into the specifics, because this is where it has to do with the most recent history reset. It seems like people like emerged from beneath the earth and were walking around in an unpopulated area, and it's like a playground, but the skies also look weird and they're heavily covered in clothing. There's talk of acid rain. In this time period, they have incubator babies and orphan trains. What is happening? So I think that this really puts all the pieces together, that they blast as much ash into the air as they can. They light all the fires that they can, and then they go in their little bunkers or the catacombs or whatever, and they probably pre-plan this, so they have food stocks and all that, and then they emerge later, a couple years, and well, most people should be dead now, and the only people who survive are probably the fringe people that end up becoming like the natives or whatever. I don't know exactly how that all works, but who knows? 2 years seems short to me. Like I don't know that they would only do it for 2 years, honestly. Like a lot of just because a lot of the media has people going down in their bunker for decades, and I don't know that there would be enough people dying if they only did it for 2 years. But certainly the bulk of people would be dead in like 1 year of the system. If they just went away one day, if all the governments and all the people just like vanished one day and ghosted us, I don't think it really would take that long for a lot of people to unfortunately die, because we're just so not self-sufficient as a people. We're very dependent on the system. I mean, but it's not all our fault. They make it that way. They build this system so that we have to be dependent on it. We can't just say, I don't want to be a part of this, and go and live off a piece of land and try to live off the land. That's not allowed. You can't do that. They force you to play the game. Longer-term effects, but the asteroid's impact did more than just throw up dust and soot. It also resulted in widespread acid rain. This is another thing that I wanted to point out, because that's a weird topic. Acid rain used to be like a big concern, and maybe it had to do with they just had a reset, and that type of thing causes acid rain for a while. And also probably part of why they're always wearing hats and a lot of clothing and stuff. I think I've mostly said everything. Evolution. They got to talk about evolution. They got to talk about dinosaurs turning into mammal superiority and including humans. They got to talk about that because that's their biological outer space thing. The evolution, saying that humans came from monkeys and that life came from sludge. Of course, that is wrong. God created everything. Everything we see was created by God. And I'm going to read Genesis chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him. Okay, so Adam is the one who named all of our animals, and they love to create their own fake animals and give them complicated names. Brontosaurus. Wait, is that a thing or is it not a thing? Who knows? They keep changing their mind. And it really is something that they like to do. They like to be like God. They like to create their own creature and give them their own name and get people to believe in it. They really get off on that kind of thing. Imagine the type of power that makes people feel, to get the entire world to believe in some ridiculous hoax like the panda. They're megalomaniacs. They feel like God, that they can mold the way that people think and what reality is. But of course, God is in full control, and God made everything, even stupid fursuits and animatronics. So thank God for waking us up to this type of deception. And let me know what you think about this. I just think that this article is a nice example of, they know how the resets happen. And I think they're kind of hinting at that they block out the sun, you get acid rain. Did it talk about freezing temperatures? I think it probably talked about freezing temperatures somewhere. All this in my mind fits in with the historical reset and the evidence that we see. So much clothing, the sky's looking weird. They look bewildered, like they've been underground for who knows how long. And they opened up the asylums were all beautiful old castles. They shoved all the people that wouldn't stop talking about the old world into the asylums and called them crazy. That makes a lot of sense to me. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.